7-figure grand from across the room. I see your patience are short with all these dancing fools. I see that you're the type of girl that likes a tattoo. I seen the way you looked at me when I came walking through. So don't hesitate, girl. A single night afternoon. Don't let the night go. No, don't let it go. Don't wanna be a street. I wanna make you scream. Come get it like a freak. Take my hand. Be mad until we're rich. Oh, life's just like a dream. Come and get it like a freak. Take my hand.
All right, we want to welcome everybody to this week's episode, something like that, of the Twisted Hour here on WBZ 95. This is Mike, and I am joined by my co-host, Kelsey, and Bree will be with us later during the second segment. So how you doing down there in Maryland? Because we're still doing our show remotely. So how you doing down there?
I'm doing all right. You know, I like my bedroom office. That's pretty cool. And as you know, my cats are driving me nuts. But home life is great. I'm a home buddy, so.
That's cool. Great. All right. Well, this week we have a really special guest who's bringing a special guest, hoping to bring a special guest. We have Chris Hollywood, who is best known for his most notably, I guess, to this point for his being the initial, I guess, lead guitarist of Black Veil Bride. So he's going to be joining us. Bree and I met him at the Battlefield Tattoo Expo last year in Gettysburg, so that was really cool. So we're really looking forward to talking with him this week, and hopefully we can get some new music from him. I know things have been difficult with the virus for him to working on his musical projects, but we'll see if he's got something for us that we can play at the end of the show and maybe put into rotation here on the station. So other than that, what else we have going on? Anything exciting? Other than watching your cat walk around and knock stuff over behind you, so it's pretty funny. So.
I mean, I'm really excited to see who his guest is. I mean, we think it's someone from his band, right? So we're speculating?
Yeah, well, no, he did message me and said he's trying to get his drummer to come over and help him with the interview, so that'll be really cool. So.
Not often that, like, you and I are surprised.
Yeah, I know. That was really cool. You know, we started a little bit late tonight because he got stuck in traffic with a massive rainstorm or whatever. And for those of you that don't know, we pre-record the shows a little bit so that way we can kind of go through it and whatnot, make sure we get all the bugs out of it and whatnot. So although typically we don't really edit too much out of it, we just kind of put it all together for the radio station and whatnot. And with the radio station, they're not able to get into it or whatever, right now. So we because of the virus and whatnot, they haven't been cleared down there. So we do everything remotely and send it over to the radio station, and we actually put it on the Twisted Angels YouTube channel. So, but anyway, so we're going to be back in a few minutes here. We are going to be chatting with Chris Hollywood from Black Veil Brides and the name of his new project, which I don't know, but we're going to get that for you too, guys, and you guys stay tuned.
It's your girl Minnie Rennie from the Twisted Angels in New Zealand. Tune into the Twisted Hour here on WBUZ 95, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check us out and listen to some antics.
All right, and we are back here on WBZ 95, here on the Twisted Hour, and Kelsey and I are here, and we are joined by a very cool gentleman by the name of Chris Hollywood. How are you doing, Chris?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. And I met Chris last year, back in June. No, I'm sorry, in October. Sorry, it was in October for the Battlefield Tattoo Expo. You were there with a tattoo artist friend of yours, Ciara, so that was really cool. And you actually have a couple special guests that you brought with you today. Who do you have with you today?
Yeah, sure. Here you go. Dillan, Norris, drummer.
Awesome.
Shaun on set.
All right, we missed who Shaun from where?
Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. And what do you do, Shaun? What exactly do you do? Oh, awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. So we'll definitely get to that to the second half of the show, because that my other half and one of our co-hosts, Brianna, she worked in a vape shop and she does all that kind of stuff. She did some vape promos and stuff like that. So she did that stuff. So, but we're gonna bounce back over to Chris here now. Chris is probably better known, or most notably known, for being part of Black Veil Brides. He was the guitarist for Black Veil Brides. Probably would you say their most popular song is probably what, Knives and Pens? Is that probably the biggest one?
I want to say so, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the one that seems to have the most notoriety and stuff like that. So, so my question to you for that is, I mean, I was in a band way back late '80s, early '90s, so the process for us was a lot different. I was on the East Coast. Everybody's goal was to get to the West Coast, so we would try and tour a little bit here on the East Coast, try and get noticed, and then you were invited out to California. You would bounce around some of the circuit there. Actually got a chance to play at the Whiskey Go-Go a couple times. Not with anybody notable, like, it's not like we opened up for Motley Crue or anything like that. They were way past that at that point. But, and then, if you got a decent following there, then they would send over, have you do like an EP, like 3-4 songs, send it over to Japan, actually, and try and get enough money for you to go on tour over there, because at that point, it was like quick money for them. It was like, you can make a lot of money in a short period of time, and then you would come back. Then you would come back from Japan and you would like put together a full-length album at that point. But things are so much different now than they were. That's really going on almost 30 years ago now. So what's different with? Well, God, that's 40 years ago. Never mind. No, that's 30. No, wait. 30 years ago, something like that. Yeah. So I know. God, man, I'm really freaking old. I mean, no. So how is that? How is it different now with your process? I mean, your process has been really jacked up right now because of the virus and everything. But what happened with you guys?
Well, as far as what?
As far as getting, when you're playing in the clubs and stuff like that, I mean, the process obviously a little bit different, well, probably a lot different than what we had to go through. How did you guys get noticed and everything?
Yeah, what do you look for in each next job to get a little closer to, your goal or reaching more people?
Okay. For me, the route that I took was it was a weird route. I started really young. I started playing music very young. I started at 9.
Oh, wow.
Before I was out of high school, I was actually touring. I was opening up for, I did the Taste of Chaos my junior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
And I did that. I opened up for Kelsey Engage, My Chemical Romance.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I wasn't even out of high school yet.
Wow.
I wasn't allowed to. My high school said, you're not allowed to go on tour, you're too young, da-da-da-da-da. And I was
What?
Is it a public school or a private?
But it is my only, chance, I feel like, even if I'm young, this could be one of my only chances to do it. So I did it. I went out and I did it. And I still continue to do it to this day. Life has its ups and its downs. It's never always an uphill. But it's what you do with how you carry yourself when you're at the bottom. It's going to show you where you're going to.
Yeah, it's how you pull yourself out. It's how you handle stuff, how you learn from it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Not even out of high school. You and I were talking the other day when we were talking about this, about that young kid, Taj, who's like 9 years old, and he's got to play with Santana and stuff like that and whatnot. So when you were in high school and like you said, you opened up for a Kill Switch Engage and My Chemical Romance and stuff like that, what was their reaction to somebody like you being on the tour with them at such a young age? Were they, pretty excited about it, or were they kind of like aloof? What were they like?
Absolutely excited.
That's cool.
I feel like I wouldn't have this job if I wasn't excited and the people around me weren't excited, especially when I'm when I'm scouting for band members and things like that, I have a list of guidelines that I literally check off a list, and if you can get 5 of those boxes checked, you're pretty much got a spot.
Yeah.
I'm looking, literally for a determined, talented kid.
You gotta have that hunger.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can say that they love what they do. That's the phrase, right?
Absolutely. I didn't want to be another person sitting behind a desk kind of thing. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to get a message out and make people happy. You know what I mean? I wanted to unite people. So
make a difference in the smallest, most personal way. I mean, I think it's Gandhi saying that everything you do in this life will be insignificant, but it's very important you do it because no one else will.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that.
Yeah. I want to be questioning the world, or I should have did that, or what would have happened if I did that?
Yeah.
What would that have turned out? I want to be that person. And I've learned a lot, from being in Hollywood. I was living out there for 12 years, and I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot of people make mistakes. I've learned from them. I've stood back and I haven't said anything, but I've watched and I've learned. You know what I mean? I never bring anybody down or put them down for their mistakes, but I will watch. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is really what it takes also. You have to have a good head on your shoulders and understand what you're at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think anything where you're an artist, I mean, you do have to kind of as artists, whether you're a musician, you're a photographer, a model, or a painter, or even a tattoo artist, we're all kind of, how do I put this? We're all prima donnas to a point, because we all take a lot of pride, or we put a lot of pride in the work that we do. So
because it's so personal.
Yeah, exactly, because it's very personal, and right, and
exactly.
And I think as artists and stuff like that, I think we, more than any other, industry that's out there, we are very related, and it's a creative industry. You and I talked the other day, and this is where we're going to get into it, is where do you want people to remember you for? What's your legacy going to be? And
I think about that every day.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that the other day too. So I mean, that's something we want to talk about. Where do you want your legacy to be? You want to make that impact musically, so people feel good and whatever, when they're listening to your music, and you want something for your son and whatnot. And you want people like Dillan, and everybody like that to have kind of the same goal, correct?
Absolutely. You get that feeling that stems from all where you want it, from all directions here. Like you want to get that feeling from your family. You want to get it from your friends. And you want that feeling when you're playing and when you're interacting with the people, that one-on-one, that contact, and that understanding. You know what I mean? I'm doing this for not just myself, but like I've got something I've got to say. You know what I mean? What happens if I never said that?
And so many people out there think that they're alone in feeling how they feel, and it takes like a niche group or a niche culture to really reach out to some people that would otherwise never find each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See, I thrive to inspire people. I thrive to inspire people to do better for their life. Let's just say you've had what you call a terrible life when you were younger. Does that mean that you have to have a terrible life when you're older? No. Every man or every woman chooses their own path, okay? And it's basically what I was told growing up, is it's a street. And it's a street that has a Y. It V's off, okay? And there's signs. One says the right way and one says the wrong way. And sometimes when you take the wrong way, you're able, if you didn't get too far along, turn back around and catch that right road back to, where you need to be.
Absolutely.
I've had people die, and they totally should not be dead, kind of thing. Being in the industry, and it is a hard industry to be in. Just understand that if you want to play music and you want this to be your life, you have to understand that it's not going to be all uphill. You know what I mean? The learning experience.
It's definitely not all fun and games. I mean, obviously, when I was in a band, I mean, it's different because I transitioned. I was doing photography at the same time, just for fun. I just stuck with it afterwards, and then I mean, I still have a lot of friends in the music industry. I mean, a lot of them are a lot older, but I mean, Brett Michaels and I have known each other for a long time. In fact, his band and my band, we used to play the same places way back when. We chat with each other periodically. He makes fun of the fact that I'm bald. I tell him he still wears too much makeup. So it just depends on the circumstances, But we have fun and stuff like that. And probably, I mean, for me, the longest friend that I've had in the industry is actually a gentleman by the name of Mike Score. He was the lead singer and whatnot of A Flock of Seagulls, and I've known him since I was a senior in high school. So he and I chat regularly and whatnot. And when we do our event series next year and our own tattoo and music festival, we want to have him come in and play, and we want to have you guys come in and play too. We want you guys to be ready and to rock and roll for that too. I think that'll be really, really cool. So, but getting back to with Dillan, how did you meet Dillan? Did he met that criteria you were talking about? But did you?
Check all 5 boxes.
Yeah, did you check all 5 boxes? How many boxes are there that you just need to have checked 5?
I feel like in my own,
It is your profession. It is your work.
I've got it worked out basically.
Yeah.
We crossed paths a lot in the industry, and always wanted to kind of get something together. And this is the time is now. It's happening.
Yeah.
You're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're both inspired on the same kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I came back home from from California. I'm in Ohio right now, and we started off with a family. I've got a 4-year-old son now. And what I wanted to do was I didn't want to be on tour while he was growing up.
Right.
I didn't want to miss him taking his first steps, taking his first sniff.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that, you know what I mean? So I took some time off. I had to step out of the limelight in order to be a father.
Right.
Be a dad.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did. And, I'm getting back into it. We've been doing some writing here recently. Definitely got some stuff coming up. Probably by the end of the year, we will have the album done.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Well, I'm looking. Yeah, we talked about that too with the impact of the virus, and a lot of bands have really kind of put things on hold. Now, I see where a lot of musicians will do stuff online. Just to kind of do like a Zoom meeting or something like that. Sam Hagar did one with Michael Anthony and his other guys from his band The Circle. Now, I guess it's not. He has so many projects that he does right now, but I was always. I mean, no offense to David Lee Roth, I was always a bigger fan of Van Hagar versus Van Halen, but that's just me. I just thought, Sammy was he was a very talented artist in his own right and a talented musician. So I think, from a personal standpoint, I felt he pushed Eddie to be a better guitarist anyway, because now you've got another accomplished guitarist in the band. And if you're the lead guitarist in an accomplished, or in a band like that with another accomplished guitarist, and you're the lead guitarist, you better step up your game. So I always thought he made Eddie even better than he was. So I thought those were some of their best albums. But
in situations like that, you really feed off of each talent and energy. I mean, I was a professional dancer, not stripper, ballerina and stuff.
Glad you clarified that. Yeah. Well, no, her poles were sideways on the wall instead of upright. That's the only difference. She was still pole dancing. It was just horizontal bar.
It was a lot of talent or a mutual feel, or I said earlier, wavelength. It's just crazy how you can feel the best of you coming out from just being around people that make you want to be better, and not in a competitive way, but in a artistic way that you can feed off of someone else's energy and better yourself.
And you know what? I feel like that's where a lot of people get hey, this guy, are they an asshole?
Yeah.
It's like that, you know what I mean? It's
yep.
What do you think an asshole is? You know what I mean? I get all depends on you. I think he was alright.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with any...
Well, I'm always an asshole. It doesn't matter. So I try to keep that pretty, I try to be consistent with that I'm always an asshole. That way I don't really surprise anybody, but, it is what it is. But yeah, we'll go with that one. I'm a cool asshole because Chris Hollywood said so, and that's all that matters. But it's funny that when you're talking about what inspires you and what you're trying to do for from your end of things as a musician, as a I hate to just say musician because you're an artist too. A lot of people you can be a musician, but if you're a music artist, I think there's a distinct difference between the two. And with what we do, with the Twisted Angels, we try to, our side of the industry from that aspect has really, social media has been both good and bad. So you have some of those things you have to deal with, and I'm sure, on your end of things you have to deal with a lot of that crap too, but we're trying to kind of set that standard to raise the bar and be that positive direction for people to go in and learn to do things the right way, or maybe not necessarily always the right way, because we make mistakes too, but to at least know how to handle them when you get those bumps in the road. So I mean, and just like you, we've had people that have passed away, that have worked with us with our Twisted Angels. We had now when we saw each other back in October, that was just a little bit before we had our son. But our youngest daughter at the time, she's actually named after one of our girls that passed away. She was really good friends with Bree. And when she passed away, she literally passed away like the same day my father did. I'm sorry, the funeral was the same day. She passed away a couple days after my dad did. So, but we were really tight with her family and everything, and we asked permission to name our daughter after her, and they were all for it. And, so that's been a really positive thing that we've done. So, but yeah, we try to take, I mean, that was a negative thing, yeah, but we also turned it into a positive with our daughter, who's, a hellion, but that's very much like the Peyton we knew, so it's kind of funny that way. But it is interesting and inspiring in and of itself that our goal is to help and inspire models and even the photographers and tattoo artists and people that we will work with to move in a positive direction. And you're trying to do the same thing from your end. And so hopefully with all of that, between you and us and other people that are like-minded, we can kind of continue to get people to move in a positive direction and not just sit back and let the bad shit, control them,
Surrounding yourself with the right people,
Absolutely.
Keep your circle small and make sure that circle is the best circle you can have, and make sure that you keep them people close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have over 300 people we're trying to keep close worldwide, so that can be challenging at times. But
I gotta say though, I don't mean this to sound advertising or anything either, but just Twisted Angels and just the network itself, not just the models, the photographers we work with, the people on the radio show. I'm not a very social person. I'm a little unapproachable. I've got resting bitch face, even though I've got baby dimples, and I don't have a lot of friends.
We don't like her either, but we put up with her. So.
That's funny. I had a conversation with my sister about this just a little bit ago. I barely get to see her, but when I do, we'll talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you can pick up where you left off, and I mean, just even with the amount of girls we do have, or guests, or anything, I never just talk to someone for a week and then never talk to them again, you know what I mean? It really is a network of artists in every aspect and genre you can think of, from art, photography, modeling, dancing, singing, acting, music, everything, and it's just so cool. I think artists in general are the area of any, I guess employment would be the word, that is the most supportive of themselves and each other. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that Wall Street screw over your neighbor kind of, and don't get me wrong, there's some effed up situations and some really dirty, messed up people, but those that are into it and are genuine, it's just, I've never met better people in my life.
Yeah. And I think that too, going along with that, I think Chris can agree, and even Dillan too. At the core, we all have something in common because we're all creative individuals, So we're very passionate about what we do,
There's something about an artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's different than your average everyday.
Absolutely.
Because any piece of art, whether it be music or a picture or a painting, no painting will ever have 100% of people that see it like it. Ever, ever, ever. So all those people that are committing to a career or a life in art, creating art, are accepting the fact that they will loved by everyone.
Right.
They will always have enemies. They will always be hated to some degree. But the payoff is the people that do relate to it, or, dive in mentally. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but the people that do, really get the art or love it. I mean, I feel like the payoff of meeting someone that gets you is just worth all the enemies.
Even just that one person.
Yep.
That one
That's right.
person
Yeah, Dillan, you couldn't have said it better. Even if it's that one person that you make that impact on, sometimes you don't realize that just the impact you make on somebody just by briefly meeting them at Dunkin' Donuts or something. And I hope Dunkin' Donuts hears this so they can give me like a little bit some free donuts every now and then. But because I'm tired of having to run down there for Brie. But yeah, you're right. You just that one little impact, you never know, and you never know what kind of difference that can make. It could come full circle later on. They come around and they say, "Hey, Dillan, you remember that one time I saw you at such and such, and you were really cool. You helped me out, and here I'm here to help you out." So you never really know, but.
Or you get to like your almost retirement days and like take some dead end job because you're kind of out of the life and meet that one person that met you when they were 4 years old and you inspired them to be a
musician or whatever, yeah.
A famous singer or whatever, and it's like just that little bit of reassurance all along your life that just seems to pop up when you need it. I've noticed that. I mean.
So we're going to get back to music here. So let's talk gear. We were talking a little bit before we came on the air that, I noticed you just got a 60th anniversary Diamond Badge FSR, which for those people that don't know, it's a Fender Special Run. It's a Stratocaster. So let's talk gear here. What is your favorite? What do you like? What do you like to use? What do you play? Talk to me. And that's for you and Dillan both. What do you guys like?
I can go ahead and speak for him on this as well. There's no question asked on this one. We're vintage nerds.
Vintage nerds, okay.
The vintage stuff. It's so good. Everything else came out after it, modeled after it.
Yeah.
Broke and it didn't need to be fixed. It still doesn't.
Right.
We'll go ahead and use that one.
Okay.
So for me, I stick to a couple brands myself. I'm a Fender Gibson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You usually see me, like you said, what's my favorite? I play a Gibson SG3. And it's all mahogany body, nickel hardware. My pickup selection, I'm running a JB in the bridge, Fat Kit P90 in the middle, and then a Gibson 490R in the neck. And that's basically going to be like my sound for now. And amp-wise, I'm using a Vox EC30. And just got pedal board set up from there.
Yeah. Do you think...
I've got plenty of pedals. There's just so much to go through.
Now, do you feel like, there are some guitarists out there that have like that easily recognizable sound, like if you hear like an Eddie Van Halen or you hear Nuno Bettencourt or even Joe Satriani or Steve Vai or somebody like that, do you try to put yourself in a position that you're going to have like that significant sound, like, oh, that's got to be Zakk Wylde because that's him?
If you don't know the song, you still know the artist.
Right.
Instantly.
Yeah. Well, because was it Pop Evil had a song out not too long ago about was it the Boss's Daughter or something like that? And Mick Mars was a guest guitarist on the track, and I know the guys from Pop Evil. I got to photograph them live. That was really a lot of fun. That was cool. But but when Mick Mars comes on and you hear it, you're like, that's not their guitars. That sounds like Mick Mars because you have that distinctive. What's that? A very underrated. Oh yeah. Unless you listen to him I guess you probably don't really get that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you on that one.
My main thing is like the whole guitar question for us is it Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's a little older. I was going newer because I'm a lot older than you guys. But yeah, I always preferred Stevie Ray Vaughan over Jimi Hendrix, I guess. I mean, I respected a lot of what he did, but I liked Stevie Ray Vaughan. I liked a lot of the stuff that he did. So growing up. So yeah.
You got my answer on that one.
Yeah. So that was me. But at the same time, though, I've had the opportunity to meet some really, really great guitarists. Some people you would never really, when I was traveling around doing bands during the late '80s, mid to late '80s and whatnot, it was just like you could throw a stick and hit about a dozen, really talented guitarists at the time because everybody was in a hair band. Everybody was, everybody really pushed everybody to be better at that point in time. I mean, it's competitive. As artists, we're competitive, but at the same time, you're like, oh, he's doing that. I'll take that to the next level kind of thing. And it wasn't it wasn't always an animosity involved. It was like, a challenge accepted kind of thing. Yeah, you fed off of each other. But I always loved, like you said with Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, on the flip side, I always felt that it was, in some ways, either Joe Satriani or Steve Vai. And I always prefer Satriani over Steve Vai. I like a lot of stuff Steve Vai does, but I'll always go back and listen to Satch any day. What's that?
I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, so... But so you're working on a distinctive sound. Now, the projects that you're working on now, the music that you're working on now, is it very different than what you were doing with Black Veil Brides, or is it kind of just like a spin-off?
This is going to be a complete different sound.
Okay.
Okay. So let me go ahead and explain this. So I feel Black Veil Brides was a perfect band for me to do when I was in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
Now, as I mature, I want my music to mature.
Right.
I want to grow as an artist. That's the whole artist thing. I want my art to grow.
Any good artist, any great artist, that's what they want to do, is constantly improve and evolve.
Absolutely. I feel like I put myself in a certain box. And stay locked in that box.
Yeah.
We'll just keep your eyes and ears open, because I will be announcing some stuff coming very soon.
No, well, we're definitely, counting on that. So, definitely looking forward to that. So, moving forward, I do have to ask this from your touring days. I gotta ask, what is the funniest memory that you have? Like something really funny that happened when you were on the road touring that really stands out to you.
Good question, man. I've got some goofy guys in bands that
As soon as he asked that question, all I could think of is the movie Almost Famous.
Okay. I'm not going to mention what band it is, but the first night that I had met this band who had picked me up in LA from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
The first night they had come and they made it out to LA, they stayed with me that night. Well, everybody else, the members and stuff, and then they had brought their road person with them, their road crew guy. Well, we just thought we'd introduce ourselves to the road crew guy first thing that night. So when he was asleep, he sleeps with his mouth open and his beard because his eyes were open too.
Oh no.
Oh, I hate that.
So I've never met the guy before, okay? And I'm like, is he awake or is he asleep? Like,
is he dead?
So we pop jalapenos and we pour all the seeds in his mouth.
Oh no.
Into his mouth. This guy wakes up and spits seeds out and he's screaming. And for some reason, we just take off running. Yeah. And I recorded it. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, we didn't have all that recording stuff.
Lovers out there, I've just got to say this. This is my little stupid random knowledge. But if you're ever in the grocery store and you like spicy jalapenos, the curlier the stem, the spicier the pepper.
Right.
And we can honestly say that's what she said. Yeah. Well, I owed you after last week because you were talking about all kinds of weird stuff with Bree, and I, didn't missed half of it there. Oh, and here's our Peyton that when Chris met her, she was barely walking around at that point, so she's joining us. But and because she's here, she saved me. I don't have to tell my funny stories from when I was traveling. There's Bree in the background, so. But anyway, so we are going to break away because Bree's going to be joining us, and it's my turn to watch the kids for a little while. So, and I'll be back a little bit later. So, everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back here with Chris Hollywood and Dillan, the drummer, and Shaun, who owns 2 vape shops. Yeah, I remember without even looking. All right, we'll be back in just a minute with this happy gang out there, and we're having a blast. Yeah, what she said.
Hey, this is Brianna Dream with Twisted Angels, and you're tuning in to Twisted Hour here on WVUZ95.com. Tune in Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for more.
Okay, so
Well, I'm glad we weren't listening to that one when we came back to this show about the cat and cat hair on everything. Oh, wait, we just mentioned that. How about that? Okay, so we are back for the second half here at WV95. This is the Twisted Hour. This is Mike. I got Kelsey here with me, and Brianna's taking over for this half of the show. And our guest this week, we have Mr. Chris Hollywood. We have his drummer Dillan, and we have a good friend of his, Shaun. I will correct myself. He is managing two vape shops. I know I took the fun away. So I will let you guys go, and I'll be back in a little bit.
all right, what's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing
How are you?
doing good. Thanks for asking. It's been a while since I've seen you, Chris.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. So, what's it like being a musician? I can't speak. What's it like being a musician?
I love it.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I get to show off my creativity and come up with cool new things, push myself to new limits, and see what I can come out with by the end, you know?
Awesome.
Is there any, like, old school styles or artists, maybe blues, jazz-ish era, maybe even funk, I don't know. But I don't know, what are like your older inspirations? Because I grew up, my dad was had his own music company growing up and produced a lot of tracks and records for people. We had a recording studio in my basement, so I mean, my lullabies were like harmonica and shit, and that really influenced my music taste growing up.
I'm going to let Dillan go ahead and start with that one. I'll go ahead and follow after that. Go ahead. We love all the old rock and roll. I mean, I'll say T-Rex, Mark Bowen. He's fucking badass. Obviously, Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. Pink Floyd, just all the old rock bands.
That's cool. I like old rock bands too. One of my favorites is Def Leppard. Mike got me hooked onto them.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm a big Ramones girl.
Hell yeah. I got Ramones shirt on right now.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely a Ramones fan, for sure. Yes. Fucking Motley Crue. We were talking about some Motley Crue earlier. Definitely Motley
Dude, how
Crue
good
fan.
was that movie, everybody?
Oh, that was fucking awesome.
Oh man, yeah, I agree. That was pretty cool.
I'm a Secret Entity kid. I've got
Really?
deep down inside, I like Brand New and some pickups and stuff like that.
I love Silver Sun pickups too. God, what is it? Something light. What's the song? Midnight? No light? I don't know.
I have no idea.
They do a whole poetry thing in the beginning of the song, and it's crazy good.
I'm sorry.
I really like that band. Silver Sun Pickups. They have a song. Yeah, I can't remember the name, but it's got like a spoken part in the beginning, and it's just a really cool song. I've done a lot of dances to their music.
It is a good song, actually. It is a good song. Yeah, I played in a band. We played a show with them in Florida. Silver Sun. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. So for your friend that manages the vape shops, how many? Is it 3? 2. I don't know where I got 3. Maybe it might have been Mike's screw up. I don't know.
Mike, to be honest.
I mean, it was a nonchalant jab because he took my thunder, but that's fine. So, what's it like, managing your shops with the whole black, what is it? The whole spiel going about, with, the liquid that, everyone gets cancer off of or gets sick about.
What do you mean?
One of my friends, works at a vape shop, and he was, at a rally or whatever for, I guess, fake.
Trump rally?
Yeah, no. Maybe? It was for vaping.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that was for Trump or not.
Oh, it's probably for the state for not being banned at that state.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of rallies doing that to protest, not to ban e-cigs
off cigarettes.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's it. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as like just the, I guess I would call it like seesaw info just about it, you know, it's helped so many people, and then, you know, it almost seemed like it got to a point where it was just too good, and so they have to start tearing something else down because nobody was smoking cigarettes. Or, I mean, how are your feelings towards like those implications? Or I mean, is it just the media, you know, throwing stones? Or how are your customers? Is there any difference or change in customers since the media's been putting out a lot of crap? Or
A lot of people just, when they started and they know the effects and there's no effects towards it, a lot of people like it. They don't like going around their loved ones, their children, or anything, their workplace smelling like an ashtray, you know?
Yeah.
And actually a lot of people are getting over a lot of health problems with vaping too.
well, and I guess like my mom was a chef when I was growing up, and she'd put like a pound of butter in like everything we ate before we'd start, you know, then media, oh, butter gives you cancer, switch to margarine, and then it's like, oh, margarine gives you tumors, switch back to butter, and, you know, there's never anything that doesn't have a side effect or, you know,
what you love.
yeah, I mean, there's never gonna be an 100% safe situation or product or food or anything, so, I mean, so much of it can just get blown up so quickly, but anything you trade, and I mean, this is with any affliction or addiction, you trade one thing for another. It might be caffeine, it might be chewing gum, it might be, you know, but you're still taking that risk knowingly trying to improve upon the risks from what you were doing before.
Right. So basically what I tell people when they come in, they're like, okay, well, I was a smoker and I want to quit. Well, I tell them to get a starter device, something cheap, and see how it does with them. But before they leave, I always tell them, keep your smokes on you. Vape on this for about 3 days, use it for about 3 days, and go to smoke a cigarette. Drastic change. You'll more likely to throw that right down to the garbage.
Is that like a taste bud thing, or like a feeling like when you're inhaling?
It's basically, there's difference. It's cigarette, the sensation that people get is
More of a throat hit.
it's more of like a throat hit.
Yeah.
Or more, the cigarette is, you have to ignite it to even get the sensation, which this one is a press of a button or powered electronically.
Combustion is the issue.
Combustion is the issue. That's when you get the tar, that's when you get
The actual
the
smoke,
carbon
the
monoxide,
fire, the burning.
When they're heated, it has a chemical reaction. You know,
Chemical reaction, that's when you get the combustible of the 6,500 different chemicals that's in a cigarette, or even more.
Yeah, 6,500.
There's only 5 in vape.
Your VG, your nicotine, and your flavoring.
Right.
That's gonna be it. That's all you're gonna get.
It's all natural products too. Nicotine's all natural. Flavoring's all natural. Let's see.
Here's your VG.
VG is vegetable glycerin. It's a natural sweetener. PG is propylene glycol, which is what makes the vapor. Actually, no, the VG makes the vapor. The PG is part of the flavoring. But PGs are actually in inhalers too. So VG and PGs in all foods, everything that we eat.
Yeah.
You know, it just comes down to we've literally
consumed
what we're basically vaping.
Yeah.
We took a chunk from the tobacco industry.
Are most of your customers like ex-smokers or people trying to quit, or how many like people that have never picked up a cigarette come in to start vaping?
I always tell people that if you haven't smoked a cigarette or don't vape, there's no reason to vape.
Right.
No
If
reason
you don't
to
smoke
start.
cigarettes or anything, there's no reason to vape.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, some of these new machines that they have, like the drippers and the ones that, basically all the high-tech ones that control, how much of a hit you get, I feel like, that would just kill somebody's lungs who's never smoked before at all in their life.
Right.
So, what are your hottest products at your shops right now?
Mostly salt nicotine. It's the biggest right now. Pod devices and disposables.
So, is it legal there?
Yes, it is, but it's 21 and up.
Right.
Yeah, in I don't know if it was, in Maryland they just changed the tobacco age, to 21, and it's been medicinally legal here. Marijuana's been medicinally legal here for a little while.
It's medically legal here too, in Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that was actually one thing that kind of helped me stop smoking as well, or cut back. I mean, I'm still in the tail end of my quitting, I'll be honest, but I used to be a professional dancer, and then, I get winded jogging to my car in the morning when I'm running late, and it's
Yeah.
terrible. I'm not even 30 yet, you know what I mean? So, but, having the vape devices for cannabis, allows you to
We
be
sell a lot
a
of
little
those
more...
bags too, so.
Yeah, it allows you to be a little more, I don't want to say public because it isn't like legal publicly, but it allows you to be a little more, what's the word, like, transportive or...
Discreet.
and like, if I'm somewhere and I have a pack of cigarettes and
Had a little
my
help
cannabis
out.
vape on me, like, I'd rather hit my pen. And I don't smoke in my car anymore because, it's been an interesting trade-off for me because I never would have considered vaping, just honestly. Like, I don't know why, it's just I had such a love for the throat burn, I guess, But,
There's different levels of nicotine too, so you can control the different.
Yeah, that's what I enjoyed about it. Because I know, what is it, the higher you go, the more nicotine there is, right?
Yeah, now in the salt nicotine, there's 25, 45, then there's 35 and 50.
Wow,
and
okay.
it's got to be nice to have that control over something, I mean, you're smoking and you make the choice at first, but then it's not a choice anymore, and you're always relying on some factory or something that's making your, like, you don't really know what you're getting. You do, but you don't, and having that control over how much nicotine or being able to scale yourself down while you're quitting is, I think, one of the biggest attractions, that you can wean yourself off at a rate that you're comfortable with, as opposed to trying to do some plan with pills or patches or gum where everybody's categorized into the same group and given the same instructions for how to wean down.
Yeah, I quit cigarettes cold turkey. It's
good for you,
like
dude.
8 years now, so...
Yeah, I had to do the same. I got pregnant 3 different times, so I had to quit smoking cold turkey too. But yeah, it does, because it was like a stress reliever kind of thing, and then now I'm kind of like...
That's all it was for me.
It can be so habitual. Like,
Yeah.
I realized pretty early on when I was trying to cut back that, like, it wasn't that I needed a cigarette first thing in the morning. It was that I liked being able to walk outside away from everybody for 10 minutes when I first woke up. I like being able to walk out of work and, like, just get a few minutes to myself, and there's no reason you have to be doing something to do that. You can just walk outside, That was, like, the biggest epiphany, I guess.
So, I was about to ask, you did say that your shop sells CBD stuff, like the oil?
What do you mean?
I mean...
The oil, you said that was a natural sweetener? M or G.
Vegetable glycerin?
Yeah.
VG.
Yes.
Okay. So,
You can get that at like Walmart and like the Band-Aid aisle. They're like little bottles, like $5 or $6.
So what is it used for? I mean, if
I
it's
guess
like...
if you have like skin irritation, you rub it on there and it takes it all away.
Okay.
It's a natural sweetener. A lot of people use it in cooking. You can use it in making candies and stuff like that. It's just
that's cool.
Oh, yeah. I do know what they're talking about now.
like a gel. It looks like a really thick gel.
Yeah, don't they use it in taffy?
I think so. Yeah, VJ's and coffee. Yeah. And also, you know, since we're talking about the whole vape thing, my mom actually ended up getting diagnosed with lung cancer. So I actually have a vape juice out myself. It's called Hollywood Night. And,
Oh, yeah, that's right, you do. I remember you saying something about that. That's cool.
Maxim E-Liquid. I'm a top seller in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky right now. Me and this guy have been pushing it for the past 2.5 years. We work the Vape Expos as well together. So if you guys are ever out at the Vape Expos, at the Vape Expos, you might run into us.
Okay, cool.
My sister lives in Ohio, so I'll try and plan my next visit to her out when there's an expo or something going on.
Very cool, yeah, definitely.
See, I wish I could do that stuff with my vape pen, but I just don't produce enough clouds.
I messed that one up.
Yeah, you did.
She's got it now.
I'm the only one without one.
No, I think she's got the good pen.
Yeah, that is the good pen. That's...
Hence the name.
Something, I can't do it. Shit. I was more talented when I was like 13.
Oh my gosh. That's...
You know, the whole Convoy 19 kind of stopped the vape expos too. It stopped, you know, we actually went under on my birthday this year.
Yeah?
The day all this happened, like literally we went on lockdown on my birthday.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that question, but I was going to ask, like, with the vape shops, how has COVID-19 affected business? Are you able to, like, ship out, or...
Really?
Huh. For the first month we were on lockdown, then the states were easing up just a little by little. So it's no cash exchange. It's only credit card.
Right.
Yeah,
you can't come in, you have to call.
Yeah, the dispensaries and smoke shops, like, around here they're doing online orders, delivery, and curbside pickup. You can call ahead, pull up. You have to have exact change or a credit card over the phone. But,
yeah,
I mean, because a lot of it's medicinal and nicotine,
show off.
even in Maryland, liquor stores were deemed essential. So, I mean...
Smoke rings over here. Making me wish I had my vape pen.
Did you guys know about like big companies and stuff? I'm also part of Team Comp Life.
Team what?
Comp Life Vapes. Comp Life? Team Comp Life?
Oh, okay.
COMPLYSE.
Yeah.
Yep.
A little pricey, but that's what you get when you live the bougie life at times.
I haven't heard that word in a long time, dude. Bougie. Can you see that dance move again? I mean, I know our listeners can't see, but...
You gotta cut that out.
This should be a video show.
Yeah, it really should be. What got you involved with vaping? Like, what got you involved with vaping? Your own line of...
I'll go ahead and start first on that. So, I had a son, like I said, and when, just before he was born, I actually stopped. I was on tour, and I've got a lot of feelings, okay? So, I was just thinking about it, and I'm thinking for him, and I'm like, maybe, I'm pretty sure he would appreciate it if Daddy would stop, because I'd be around longer for him, and... You know, all the side effects. He doesn't want me to pick him up, and I don't want to carry him with carcinogens and chemicals
smoked for over 20 years. I started really, really young for no reason.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 34. I started cigarettes very
Kelsey.
I did too. I've been smoking over half my life. I mean, that's why it, like...
That I can tell being on stage and being off stage. Right,
unbelievable.
And smoking to vaping is night and day, guys. Like, it's literally like...
The breathing, the stamina...
I literally still ask myself, like, what do you think, man? Like, you know... There's a responsibility that you have to take for your own life at a certain point, you know?
Absolutely.
And,
I agree.
You have to accept the blame for your own decisions.
Yeah. You know, and it's going to come to you. It's the thing. Life's going to present itself to you like that. Whether or not it's in a child or whatever it is. And it's up to you to make the right decisions as a parent, as an adult. The responsibilities that you need to have should be for your family, for those around you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Prioritize properly.
Yeah. So for me, mine was literally my family and my son and my mom and everything. Mine was literally just hit me right here, and I had to go and come out swinging. So I'm doing good. Life's a good life.
That's awesome.
Nobody out yet. Hashtag fuck cancer, right?
What flavor is that you're dropping into your pen?
Cherry bombs. You know those 50-cent candies you used to get on the shelves?
Oh my gosh.
Little cherry sours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were right next to the warheads.
Oh, these are the candy sours. They're little hard candies. You chew them. They're like Mike and Ike's, but they're like cherry balls.
Oh, I was thinking like lemon heads.
It's like that, but a cherry version.
Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking of the same thing. In the store around the corner, they're next to the warheads. I don't know why I thought you guys would know that, but... like every mom and pop gas station arranges their candy the same, but, you know, it happens.
I haven't tried this yet. I don't know if I tried this one.
I believed you, Kelsey. Your drummer back there is just strumming on a guitar. I feel like he's left out. I want to ask him a few questions too.
See, my receiver started to die, so I had to plug it in.
You're all right.
So, the two, Dillan and Chris, do you guys only play the instruments that I have you written down on my notepad, or what else do you play, or can you play, or would you like to learn how to play?
So I started off in orchestra when I was younger. I used to play the upright bass. I played with a bow and read music and get all that.
I was first chair violin.
There you go. I did that. I played bass for 7 years before I before I went over to guitar. So, yes, before I transitioned over. So then I was in a car accident when I was younger and I was damaged. So then I moved to LA. It literally only took me 3 years. If you want it, it's there for you. But you have to want it. You have to go and get it, which means literally you have to leave home. You have to leave home. That is literally one of the things you have to do. It is going to be a struggle. It is going to be hell. But you can do it. By the end, it is going to pay off. So, you know what I mean? It's going to be like worth it. Like
I dropped everything in my dance days and moved to New York, and I found a cheap place with a bunch of roommates in Long Island. I drove to the city every day, worked my ass off at like 6 dead-end jobs. Went to every audition, even for shit I didn't want, because it was something else on my resume to get me one step closer. You got to pay your dues sometimes. And I mean, I felt so low. I was so broke, and I'll be damned if it didn't pay off in the end. You really have to, like I said earlier, that I like the word hunger. You have to have that hunger to not stop, and that drive to just know that you're never gonna get every job. You're never, like I said earlier, not everybody's ever gonna like your art. So you have to accept that you're gonna get criticized, you're gonna get beat down, but it doesn't mean that's the next person's opinion.
You know, if I would have the way every time I was told no, I don't know what I would be doing right now. You know, but I literally have no clue what it is. Someone
It's,
who's like,
I'd probably be like a kindergarten teacher, and that's fucked up and scary.
Right.
What about a kindergarten teacher?
You're going to tell me that I'm not allowed to do this. I'm like, who are you, huh? You know what I mean? Like, tell me I'm not allowed to do it. My school told me I wasn't allowed to, and I did it. Now I'm about to go back to my principal right now and be like, look, check out my resume, bro. Yeah, do this, that's it. P.S. I love you. Thanks for being here.
Yes, I love you.
You know?
Oh, man.
Nailed it.
I remember one time quitting my job. I quit a job when one of my albums dropped. Actually, my first album dropped, which I was recorded by the Good
Oh,
Dolls.
how good does that feel?
My freshman year of high school, I was actually pulled out of high school by the Goo Dolls and flew to Rochester, New York to record my first album. Yeah, Goo Dolls hit us up via MySpace and stuff. And flew me and my band out and recorded our album for us. And then after that, then I was on tour doing blah, blah, blah. But I had totally two different times. It was just crazy. It was like written in my life that it was going to happen. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
It's funny how much somebody's life can your own life can seem to really turn out like a book with different chapters. Like, have you ever just felt like, I thought that was my whole story, and then it ended and something else picked up and happened, and it's like, God damn, it's not over yet.
So have you guys ever heard by chance of anything called The Secret?
Okay,
no. I want you guys tonight. This is how you do it, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead and say it to you. This is how you do it. I want you guys to go on tonight, go on YouTube. It's on YouTube. And watch something called The Secret. If you want it, literally all you have to do is think about it.
Okay.
Think about it really hard. Think about it every day, how much you want it. Watch stuff start to happen. Just watch. I've literally got, like I say, I'm a vintage guitar collector. I collect the old.
Oh, that's awesome.
How am I able to get stuff that old? You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, when you're in a world like this, the collection and the people that collect it, these should be locked away in a vault somewhere. How come I'm able to be like, oh, well, there it is, let's go get it? You know what I mean? Like, that's an unheard of kind of thing. Where you're like, yeah, I know for a fact that those are like $22,000. And you know what I mean? Like, those are temperature control, all that jazz. It comes down to the nerd science about it. You know what I mean? And for other people that know the nerd science, they're looking for the same stuff. If you've got this wrong, or that screw wrong, that screw, they know something's been replaced. You know what I mean? That solder joint has been broken, my friend. You know what I mean? You're losing a lot of money for stuff like that. It is crazy, right? Like, literally. Like, if that guitar didn't have the original screws in that, they would know and be like, $400 off. Yeah. For fun.
This is like, what's that show? Antique Roadshow?
Right. Well, I'm talking about a laptop Kelsey. Yeah, pretty much.
God, for my grad, oh God, I want to say this, but I also don't, because I don't want you guys to hate how much I don't know. But anyway, I told you my dad was a producer, a musician. And for my 18th birthday, he had left and wasn't around for a while, and then I got this gift in the mail, and I want to say it was a Gibson, but I don't know for sure. It was like an antique, pink salmon colored acoustic guitar.
Yeah, I know what that is.
I mean, it was crazy, and it was kind of funny because he was such a manly army guy, but he's got this pink guitar he's given to me after
The actual color of that is champagne. It's like a champagne.
Do you know what I'm talking about then?
Still has that?
Am I right? It's Gibson?
Yeah, you still have it?
Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, very cool.
So I tried forever to teach myself guitar, but I've got real little hands, and
Don't matter.
I can't reach all the strings.
I was told I couldn't be a guitarist. I was told I wasn't going to be able to play guitar. I was too big. That too. Stick to bass, my hands are too big. I was told that. You know what? We need big hands now to play the guitar. The chords now look like this. They're not this anymore. Check this out. Our actual power chords, when we first started playing music, it looked like this. This was a power chord. One dot, one dot. Right? Our power chords now look like these. They're complete, yeah. It adds a little extra muscle power, you know what I mean? Doing your thing. Gotta be all there. It literally, you have to have a certain power over your mind. There's certain smarts.
which brings me to my question. How long have, you've been, involved in music?
I'm 34. I started at 9. A long time. Probably like, I don't know what the math is on that. A while.
I'm 32 as well. I started playing drums when I was like 4. My dad's a drummer, so I was pretty much born into it.
Same. My dad's a
That's
drummer as well.
awesome.
Born in music.
I picked up guitar later, started singing too, so. I'm 34, so me and him are the same age.
He just plays the vape.
I help people quit smoking. There's a difference.
I'm a life coach.
Yeah.
I'm a smoking life coach.
You know, that's what I like to say. I
love it. That should be a t-shirt.
Definitely.
If I'm not saving lives behind my piece of wood, is what I dumb it down to be. I'm not saving lives behind my piece of wood. I'm saving lives selling the product, trying to keep people.
Dude, my favorite instrument is harmonica, and it is by far the hardest I've ever learned how to play. I can play violin, clarinet, piano.
I can play piano a little bit.
Learn from Tom Petty on that harmonica.
My dream is to have like a super heavy metal band with a harmonica break.
Have you ever heard of a metal band with a saxophone player?
I have.
Yes.
Dude, my dad played brass, so like I said earlier, the jazz, the blues, that was all a part of like my upbringing, his
Well, then check
concerts,
out this band called Shrezzers. Like
How do you spell
shredding,
that?
like shredding and then brazzers.
Okay.
So it's like slang word for shredding tits. Shrezzers.
Yeah, I got that with the brazier.
Yeah. Shrezzers. That's a metal band with a saxophone player. I was like, wow, they're not from here, they're foreign, they're from Russia.
Really? That's
Some
interesting.
jams that I've been into.
У меня есть попока-батут.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Russian for
I was about to say, what does that mean? You can't just come in here and like poke me in my side.
Sure do.
You can't.
I have rights.
What are the coolest people that you've met? I'm not sure if Mike touched on that earlier, but I'm gonna touch on it now because I wasn't here for the first half.
Coolest people, but I can tell you an odd thing. It's me and my chick and a couple roommates at the time, and we're in Hollywood, we're hanging out, and of course at 2:30, that's when the bars close. It opens up the after parties.
Right.
So that's where he was already heading. Didn't know that.
Oh.
We head up into the Hollywood Hills, and it's like $60 to get into this house. Okay, it's a big mansion for it. I walk in there, I see Corey Feldman sitting on the couch. Okay, he's getting goodies. He's got 3 girls on each side of him. He's rocking a suit, and all these chicks are rocking red dresses, the exact same red dress. And he's just got his arms around these, all 6 of them, and they're sitting. And this place is packed. Nobody's saying anything to these girls, or I think they kind of knew, like, that's kind of like his like clique right there, like, you know what I mean, like, don't say anything. That's Corey Feldman, you know what I mean? He's a goonie.
Goodies never die.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a lost boy. He's a lost boy. He's gonna fly over here in a second.
All right. Well, I'm going to break away. Mike is going to step back in. I have to take over and watch the kids. The joyous moments of putting them to bed. Thank you for chatting with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Alrighty. Alright, so what I'm back, so we'll wrap things up a little bit here this week. And I do want to thank Chris for joining us this week. That's really very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell people where they can find you on social media and whatnot, all the places to follow and see what's coming up with your music and everything.
Sure. Right now, you can follow my Instagram. It's going to be Chris Hollywood. It's going to be Hollywood, with the O's and Hollywood are actually zeros.
Okay.
All 3?
Yes. No. Just in wood.
Okay.
Just wood. She's taking notes. She's taking notes.
And then _TCL.
Now, are we doing anything special this week? One of the things we do, Chris, is after people have a chance to listen to the show, they'll ask some questions on the YouTube and also on the Facebook page, and sometimes they'll ask them right there, sometimes they'll send them to Kelsey, but we'll go through and we will select a handful that get when we have models on, they get an autographed picture or something like that.
So a postcard with a picture of
so if you have something, we'll take the cost of it. We just need to know, whatever you want to send out to everybody. So that kind of keeps people engaged a little bit for you too. So they can keep up with you and whatnot. So we'll do that for you this week. We'll figure that out. And other than that, I mean, I'm really excited that we're able to connect. I know we talked a little bit about it, back in the fall, but schedules and everything else was finally, the stars aligned. We got to have you on the show this week, so I'm really excited. So and definitely looking forward to the upcoming music and whatnot. I'm really excited about that. So I missed it too. Did you who do you real quick? Who are your music influences that you heard them? You're like, wow, I've got to do this.
Like currently, or you mean like?
Well, you can say. Well, let's go back then. That's that's actually a good counter question. But who initially got you started, and who do you like seeing now? I mean, when somebody's got some new music out or whatever, you're like, oh, I want to see this or I want to listen to that.
Yeah, what do you get excited for?
Anything Blink-182 comes out with. I'm guilty. I'm a Blink fan. Have been since I was younger. How about you?
Same. I'm Blink.
You see how this works?
And always been for me is Oasis.
Boxes.
There you go.
Yeah. That's one of those boxes you had to check. Do you like Blink-182? That was the one box you had to check.
Yeah. For a band that literally them as members all used what they had as far as fame and created businesses and went from there. Now we've got one of them working for the government. They pulled the singer from Alkaline Trio for their singer now, it just works. It's just crazy. It works. The funny thing about
they haven't had a downfall really yet, as far as you hear about people, they sold out, they lost all their money, they gambled it away. They are smart. They haven't changed their sound. I don't know. I'm loyal.
I've been happy with everything that comes out, But for me, that's been growing with them since I've been a kid. I'd like to see how they mature and how their music grows as well.
Yeah.
So for them, that's kind of like one of those stepping stones, man, where I learned off of those guys.
Yeah, as a drummer, Travis Barker.
Yeah.
Up there, played with his shit since I was a kid. So.
Well, and statistically, they say that out of as much as your opinions and styles or trends change over the years, and as you're growing up, nothing musically affects you as much as what you listen to at 13 to 15 years old. 14 years old is the sweet spot. That music will always have the most emotional impact on you. You will always go back to it at certain times. And I heard that, and I hate being a statistic, but goddamn, it's true. That shit is timeless to me.
And I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. The first album that I was sold on, the thing that made me want to start music in general, my dad came up, I remember playing a song that had Shaun and said, okay. Sitting Indian style in his band, he comes up and he throws me the Green Day Dookie album.
Oh, yeah.
Goes, hey, I don't like this. Maybe you will. I put it in, and the first words were, my hair is shaking in my eyes.
Yeah.
That was my first CD ever.
Yes.
My first CD ever.
Now that I'm older and I listen back to some of these songs, I go, now I get why my parents were coming in and turning it down. I had no clue what that was about, any of that meant, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like,
but here's the thing, you get why your parents wanted you to turn the music down, but you get why when you're driving in the car now, you still turn it up when you're by yourself. So it's that kind of thing. Now, I didn't have a first CD. I had a first cassette tape. And so, and actually, it goes back. I remember, riding in trips with my parents, and it was the Beatles. It was my dad had all the Beatles 8 tracks, and we were listening to them all the time. And my very first record that I got was my dad's cousin used to work for a printing company up in New York, Buffalo, New York, and I got my first record was the Kiss Double Platinum album that was autographed by them that my dad's cousin got for me. And I got a copy of their first Kiss comic book that they donated blood for the ink. So I was a big Kiss fan growing up as a kid, but then I got into all the harmonics and stuff like that with groups like Def Leppard and stuff like that. They were just so musically talented and whatnot. So, and for me, photographing them and hanging out with them and stuff like that was really, really cool. So, but so that's awesome though. That's great. But again, I want to thank you for joining us this week. It's been awesome. We look forward to having you on again as we get closer to your music coming out and everything like that. Of course, we'll keep in touch because we want to get you involved with everything we're doing, and we want to do stuff to help you out with everything you're doing with the vape stuff and
good. Thank you for having us, man. We hope that you guys and your listeners and everybody are staying safe during these times right now.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Keep that social distancing 6 feet.
Oh God, I know.
Everyone's got time to listen.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And everybody's really just chomping on the bit and anxious to get out there and do stuff. So we do want everybody to, we get that.
You can't just flood it. It's just we're just gonna get thrown right back into the house again.
You're right.
Yeah,
So
you can't take a mile when you're given an inch.
yeah, exactly. Especially not something like this. So, but
Thank you for having us.
yeah, we really appreciate you guys, and Shaun and Dillan, we're really glad you guys were able to join us too. So, that was
so cool.
Yeah, that was really great. That's really cool. So,
I appreciate them too, taking the time to meet up.
oh yeah, we really appreciate them coming out too.
We were
So,
saying before the show, we're not often surprised by surprise guests.
yeah, so that was awesome.
Cool.
So, well, I think. Yeah, I think in the 2 years we've been doing the show, it's the first time somebody brought us brought extra guests that we weren't ready for, that we didn't know about until ahead of time. So that was really cool. So what's that?
Hell yeah. The more the merrier.
Yeah, you guys popped our cherry on that one, so we appreciate that. So, all right, well, thanks again. Hang tight, Chris. We'll talk to you a little bit here in just a moment, and we're going to be right back, gang.
This is Diamond Dahlia, winner of Hell City Hotties.
And Hall Trill from Iconic Tattoo here in Arizona.
Tune into Sit Hour here on
WBUZ 95, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out the Twisted Angels.
All right, and we are wrapping things up for this week for the Twisted Hour here on WBUZ 95. It's been a long week, and tonight was a fun show. A little bit of audio problems, but overall, really a lot of fun. I want to thank, again, Chris Hollywood and his friend Shaun and his bandmate Dillan for joining us tonight. And again, I want to thank Brianna and Kelsey for being phenomenal co-hosts. I really appreciate their help in making the show happen, and we definitely enjoy having really cool people like Chris and his friends on the show. And we want to thank you, the listeners, for taking the time out to listen to us for a little bit. I know it's been kind of rough with the quarantine and lockdowns and the whole coronavirus going on. And we're still hoping, again, maybe next week the radio station will be able to be up in the building that we're in. So, but hey, on a bright note, we have some new music. Chris, as he mentioned earlier, did not have anything that he could give us. I mean, he's got finished stuff, but he can't give us any right now because it's all going towards their album and everything. So, that being said, a good friend of ours that we've had on the show before, Brad Cox, who is also from, he's got several music projects. I know him from back in the day from the band Schizo Calypso, and he's got a new band now called Veteran Avenue, and another band project that he's done has been called We Love the Underground. So it's just some of the similar, sound, based on the fact that it is Brad, doing the vocals, but the style and the direction of the music is a little bit different, so it's really, really cool. But this one is for Veteran Avenue, and it just came out, just released this past week. And just a little background, for a few months, we've been trying to, if they give us some new music, for bands like Veterans Avenue and some of the other bands that we've met along the way, we try the Holtzman Effect and just a bunch of them. That we try to give them some airplay and get them some notoriety. Now for this particular tune, okay, Brad invited C. Milton Wright's own Michael Adam Beal is how you pronounce his last name, to play lead guitar, and I guess he and Mike were in a jazz improv class together in high school, and so they've known each other since high school, and according to Brad, Mike has always had this natural ability to play circles around people on lead guitar. He's like one of those great, unknown people that and it was great for, him to reconnect with Mike and put this together. And he had also played a little bit with him with Schizo Calypso's second album, which was Premeditated Acts of Stupidity, it's like 1999. So that's like, God, that's like, 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, 21 years ago. But another, very special guest on the track was a guy that no one in the band has seen for roughly about 15 years. That was Kevin Brown, who performed. He was with Schizo Calypso from like 2003 to 2007. Although he did say to note that he has not physically seen him, FaceTiming and stuff like that, but that's about it. But his buddy Gary Holmes was, on the drums, rocking the kick back there. So, and then Brad, very instrumentally talented as well. He did the rhythm guitar and, of course, the vocals, and he wrote the song. His buddy Tony Corelli played the piano and produced the track at what's called the Deep End Studio that Tony has. So that was really, really cool. And anyway, I guess Barry Atkins gave a kind of a pre-spin, a little sidebar help, with the Schizo Calypso site, and there is a video that we're going to also put on the YouTube channel, so there will be a link there. It'll be under our favorites, I guess, for friends of ours and whatnot, so keep an eye out to check it out as well, and we'll make sure to post that on our Facebook page. So again, you can find the Twisted Hour on Facebook. Just find us on the facebook.com/The Twisted Hour. And find us on Instagram, just the Twisted Hour. And, obviously you can find us on the Twisted Angels YouTube channel. Since and we may keep doing it even after the radio station is up and running. We may still do some airplay and slideshows and stuff like that for that as well, because it seems to be, people really enjoy that, and we really appreciate that. So, in any case, be sure to tune in here on YouTube and on WBZ 95. Hopefully that's going to be up and running here in the very near future as things kind of loosen up and everything with the quarantines and restrictions and everything. So we hope everybody out there is staying safe, being smart, and getting twisted with the rest of us. So y'all have a great night, and we will see you next week.